Hello and welcome. We begin with the latest from the Horn of Africa, a region emerging as a hotspot for geopolitical tensions. In a dramatic development, Somalia has offered the US exclusive operational control over its strategic ports on the Gulf of Aden. This is according to a leaked letter from Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud to his US counterpart Donald Trump. Now, Somalia's offer includes ports and military bases to bolster American engagement in the region, ensuring uninterrupted military and logistical access, while preventing external competitors from establishing a presence in the corridor. This comes as the US increases its military deployment in the Red Sea to counter Iran-backed Houthi rebels. But the assets Somalia is offering to the US are not without controversy. Now, Somalia is offering the US ports and bases in Berbera and Bosaso. Now, it is also offering the Berbera Air Base, where US troops are already stationed to fight al-Shabaab and ISIS in Somalia. But the assets in Berbera are located in Somalia's breakaway region of Somaliland, while the Bosaso is in the semi-autonomous region of Puntland. But Berbera Port, considered one of the most crucial Red Sea bases, has become the center of a major controversy. Now, Berbera Port is seen as a hope of independence for Somaliland, a region that does not consider itself a part of Somalia. Somaliland has been seeking international recognition, but no country has officially recognized its claim. Somaliland has been eyeing a separate deal with the US, a deal that would grant port access in exchange for recognition. Now, reports indicate that these talks had gained traction in Washington, but Somalia's new proposal could be a strategic move to block these efforts. Somaliland has responded to the plan. It has strongly rejected the idea of giving the US access to Berbera Port under the Somalia deal. Somaliland's Foreign Affairs Minister dismissed the move as desperate, and that nothing can stop Somaliland from receiving recognition. He said that he believes the US isn't foolish and that they know exactly who they want to deal with. Somaliland recently expanded port in Berbera. It's run by a company from the United Arab Emirates, a key US ally in the region. The UAE has reportedly shown strong support for Somaliland's quest for international recognition. Now, Somalia, on the other hand, has not been in Trump's good books. The US has long played a pivotal role in helping Somalia to fight Islamist militants linked to al-Qaeda and ISIS. However, observers say that Mogadishu fears that President Trump may reduce US support, as he did during his first term. The country is also reportedly on a proposed red list or under a complete travel ban under Trump's administration. Meanwhile, Somaliland has gained attention for the relative stability and political environment that it has maintained. So, whose offer of port access will President Trump choose? And what will be the security implications for the Horn of Africa? Now, for more on this, we have with us Yusuf Belal, a Horn of Africa expert who is joining us from Meknes in Morocco. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, what strategic advantage would the United States gain by securing control over Somalia's air bases and ports, particularly in the context of countering the Islamist militant threats in the Horn of Africa region?
Well, there are three main advantages. The first one is certainly in the context of the war, the Israeli war on Gaza, and given that the Houthis in Yemen have been active in threatening part of Israel's security. So it is very much related to having an outpost and a naval, additional naval base that would help the U.S. face the Houthi attacks. mostly that are against Israel, but also the maritime trade. The second advantage for the US would be to have to be able precisely to secure the fluid trade in the Red Sea and through the Suez Canal. And the third one is within this competition between the US and China and Russia, and given that Russia will have most likely in the next few months a naval base in Sudan, in Port Sudan on the Red Sea. So having an additional presence is also part of this competition with Russia and China regarding the Belt and Road Initiative.
Right. And Yusuf, how does the inclusion of Berbera, which is a location that is also claimed by Somaliland, complicate Somalia's offer? And what are the potential geopolitical and legal implications of Somaliland rejecting this move?
Well, you know, we're in a situation that is very similar to what happened 1 year ago when the crisis between Ethiopia and Somalia started over the issue, a very similar issue, and the Berbera Port. So legally, Somalia is the only legal authority to be able to have this kind of agreement with the US, because it's the only government, the federal government of Somalia, that is internationally recognized.
Right.
Somaliland is recognized by no other country in the world. So legally, it would be then the federal government of Somalia that would be able and entitled to have this kind of agreement. But practically and politically, if the federal Somali government has the legal authority to do it, it doesn't have the political means to do it, because practically Somaliland is a de facto state. It doesn't have a legal status. So that move would require, if on the Somali perspective it needed to work, it requires very intense negotiations with Somaliland to accept that kind of deal. So it's a kind of triangular relationship, and it would require, and obviously for the Somali government, it's a way to contain any possible recognition of Somaliland.
Right. And could this offer to the US risk escalating the regional tensions or invite pushback from other powers with interests in the Horn of Africa, such as China, Turkey, or the UAE?
Look, at this stage, we're in a situation with much less tension than what we had 1 year ago, when the crisis started between Ethiopia and Somalia over the issue of the Berbera Port and the possible recognition of Somaliland. Yeah. So now we have to keep in mind that the UAE has been pushing very much the US for this kind of policy, and the UAE is one of the key allies of the US in the region, and given that the UAE has been pushing also for a deal with Somaliland and Ethiopia, then the question would be, what would be then the kind of understanding that the UAE would have with the US regarding this kind of policy, because then it would have implications in the way that Somaliland acts as an independent or autonomous actor or not, and how all this will have implications in the fight against Al-Shabaab in Somalia.
Yusuf, thank you. It's always great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Alison.
Greeting you with aloha and namaste.
No, I love India.
Presence, occupation of a territory by another country pertains to India, what we saw in Kashmir.
How do you see Trump's America?
Yes, the current administration behaves differently from the previous administration.
Are you saying that there are foreign powers who are trying to bring down the current government in Syria?
Exactly.
Iran, maybe Russia too.
Prime Minister Modi committed to South-South, cooperation.
Not over 50%.
Is Ukraine prepared to pay the price for that peace?
No compromises at the cost of territorial integrity and sovereignty.